I want to thank everyone who came here tonight, and especially my wife, who has proven to be a source of strength for me. We're married almost 30 years this summer, and it goes to show that the grace of God comes through to us in many different venues, and the most important one of which is the person for which we become one when we exchange that marriage vows. And I know that she made me a better man, and I know I made her a better woman, so I want to thank my wife, Rosemary. In 1990, when I realized I couldn't keep getting arrested, people asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, you know, there's a record from someone who's supposed to be a conservative that does not look too good, and that was Ted Stevens. And I said, I have some understanding of politics and history, and I'm going to take a run at him. I knew, just like right now, that I was going to put together a team on the fly. It's a true citizen initiative that this campaign is going to represent. I'm not at all concerned that we're not shoehorning people in here at all. I'm not at all concerned whether I speak to 2 people or 200 people. I'm going to keep at this relentlessly. And I know that sooner or later, after the 15th, the 20th, the 30th, the 50th time that the battering ram hits the wall, sooner or later it will crack. And so there are numerous things that I want to say here today, and one of them is in the tactics of a campaign. I like little people, not big money, to help out a campaign. And this suits me just fine in this room right now, because you don't want to peak too soon. If you get yourself into a glitzy ballroom with chandeliers when you start the campaign, you've got only one place to go, and that's down. This campaign will start slowly, and it will grow because this message is ready. There's one thing I can only repeat over and over, and it's this. The Constitution and nothing but the Constitution. It seems simple enough. It's the way it was supposed to be. But we have diverted from this understanding. Government is force. To try to pretend that it is anything else is to begin a process that can only end in the enslavement of the people. The government is best equated to a Doberman pincer. It's got teeth, it's a guard dog, it's slick, and it's got a brain the size of a walnut. An Adobe is necessary to protect you from something that's very dangerous, a criminal or someone who is trying to invade your home, but he's not made to sit on your lap by the fireplace. And socialism in the era of the bereft and failed 20th century has had its day. We've tried it. It's a failure. And socialism is the reason why we are facing numerous problems right now. Let's begin to start counting them. I noticed that we come up here to Anchorage so we can get cheap gas. In Kenai, it is $4.24 a gallon. I remember the good old days when it was $3.79 last month. There is the rationing of basic staples in some supermarkets. This is connected to the energy crisis. And the energy crisis is connected to 3 things. Number 1, a war. Number 2, ethanol. And number 3, unreasonable environmentalism. Only a madman wants dirty air and dirty water. But only a madman wants to have their family starve, or wants to have to crimp back so badly that the only thing you can do is to pedal a bicycle through the snow in an Alaskan winter, which is where we are going if we don't do something about $4.24 a gallon. Candidates are right now running for the presidency, all of them, promising more and more government in health care, in international relief, in foreign aid, in programs that reach the ultimate in absurdity and waste. I've been watching for 50 years all the jokes about the latest stupid government program. A war with 4,000 deaths and climbing being fought on a false premise, aimlessly lurching into complexities of a culture that is totally alien to us, and defying any disengagement process other than the promise that we may be there for 50 years. Well, now it's been scaled back to 1/10 that. 5 years now, according to the presumptive Republican presidential candidate, 2013. The threat of a reinstitution of a military draft as our enlisted personnel are extended and overextended on tours of duty. I'm going to tell you, when I was a kid, I was scared to death of the draft. I sat in high school listening to leftists denounce the Vietnam War. They denounced the Vietnam War because, frankly, they kind of liked communism. I wish there was a conservative who said the draft is wrong because it's unconstitutional. In fact, the greatest riot in American history was over the draft. It was during the war between the states. And then when they passed the 13th Amendment, I'll read to you what it says. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except wherein the party shall be convicted of a crime, shall be legal in the United States or any of them. And what is a draft other than involuntary servitude? I talk to my students, and they read that document, and they go, Mr. Byrd, the Constitution says one thing, the government does another. I said, hang on, we're just getting warmed up. A judiciary that presumes to legislate for the entire nation without consideration of the Constitution, tradition, culture, religion, or any local government. A judiciary that routinely strikes down state laws and is even now deliberating our right to keep and bear arms. This is the problem. We have people with long faces and black robes who say to us, this is what the Constitution means. No, I'm sorry. It does not say we the judges of the United States. In the first three words, it says, we the people of the United States. And I can read that Constitution too, and I know exactly how to stop judges from usurping it. We also watch what's going on in California, where they've just now redefined marriage, and where homeschoolers are threatened with raids unless their children are enrolled in a system that is famous for a social agenda that's anathema to their religious beliefs. We live in a state right now celebrating 50 years in the Union, yet we cannot develop our resources unless we can sway public opinion in the congested areas of the lower 48. And like the spotted owl signaled the death knell of the Pacific Northwest timber industry, the polar bear now threatens Alaska. And even the founder of Greenpeace has called global warming unproved and a specious scientific argument. We now have a tyrannical tax system that is so complex that even its own experts cannot understand it, and employs agents who never heard of the Fourth Amendment. Then we are constantly reassured that rumors of a NAFTA superhighway or a North American Union or a North American currency, which has already been called an Amero, and for which the die has already been cast. These are merely urban legends. And then we find out a few months later that these urban legends appear on the evening news as a routine development of the so-called global economy. Listen to Lou Dobbs of CNN News, who has been following this issue for a long time. Phyllis Schlafly, leader of the Eagle Forum, one of the greatest women that ever lived in this country's political history, and she says the North American Union is no longer a legend, it is reality and is on our doorstep. They are erasing the United States of America right before our eyes.